questions? Any other question? So I can see that most of you right here are my students before in Math 100, like Miss Ambrosio, Miss Tamundong, Miss Hanlet. Who else? Miss Kyla, I'm not sure. But for those three, Hanlet, Ambrosio, and then Tamundong, they were my students before when we are still in normal. So UC pa dati. Alright, so any other concerns, guys, or questions before we continue our discussion on Module 8?
Sir,
Yes?
sir, yung RAR file po na provided sa module tab po, i-extract din po ba bago i-open, sir?
Yes. Yung nasa week 6, yung tinatanong mo?
Yes, sir, yung RAR file po dun.
Ng pizza, yes. Oh, extract nyo muna yon bago nyo gamitin. Doon mo lang siya matetest or magagamit ng kompleto. Kasi kung kinapi mo na yung laman nun tapos hindi pa na-extract, magkakaroon ka talaga ng error. Hindi yun gagana.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay? So the only reason why I would like you guys to compress it, as a RAR or zip file, so that you can submit it in one file only. Okay? Kasi hindi nyo siya masasubmit ng isa lang kapag naka-folder type siya. Kaya pinapa-compress ko siya sa inyo as one para one lang. Isa lang isa-submit nyo. Wala na kayong problema pa. Ako na lang mag-extract dito. Alright?
Sir, last.
Okay, ano yan?
Sir, tama po ba yung formula for circumference dun sa quiz number 2?
Yeah, I guess. 2 pi r circumference.
Sir, iba po yung nasa module, sir.
Or tama naman, 2 pi r. Ano ba yung nakalagay doon? Or pi times diameter. Pwede rin. Or pi r's. Hindi. Kuhan lang. 2 pi r lang. Kasi area na yung pi times r squared. Ano yung nandun?
Sir, yung nakalagay po dun, pi times the square root of 4 times the quantity a plus b squared po.
Have you tried using the conventional formula? This one. Are they the same or different result?
Sir,
Verify.
different po.
Different. Ha? Anong lab yan?
Sir, quiz number 2, sir.
Wala pala dito yan. Sitwork number 2. Pi times the square root of 4 plus ab squared. I'm not sure kung bakit ganito yung formula. Let's try to find out. Maybe there's a derivation. Because this one, okay, again, just a disclaimer, this one doesn't came from me. I am not the one who created this one. This one actually came from a certain lingan. And I've been teaching this one for over 2 years, starting from before until now. And ngayon ko lang din napansin na iba pala talaga. Actually, naalala ko nga lang circumference, 2 pi r, yun ah. So, which is ito, iba naman. So, hindi ko alam kung anong nangyari. And ikaw lang din nakapansin, Miss Kyla. So, very good. Meron pa bang iba dyan?
Sir, ellipse po yun, hindi circle.
Ah, Kaya pala. Baka naman iba kasi pag ellipse. 2 pi times square root of pi times square root of 4. A plus b squared. Saan nakuha ni sir ito? Let's try to find out. 4, infinite series, and series 1. What is this? Perimeter naman to. Formula. Ramanujan. What is that?
Which is equal to 2. You can see that a 0 use 9a square root from 0 to calculate the depth.
Alright, so magkakaiba sila ng result. Hindi ko rin nahanap sa dalawang article. And ito naman is 4 square root of 9 cosine and then plus 2 plus 4 sine. So for this one, I'm not really sure why it is pi times 4 times a plus b squared. But since I think some of you have already done this one, without a question. So uh, just do whatever is the formula right here. Okay, ito na lang yung gawin nyo na or i-apply nyo sa program nyo para fair na lang sa lahat. Kasi kung babaguhin pa natin, like for example, yung kanina, another formula, baka mamali ko. Okay? So, ganun na lang. Kung ano na lang nandito muna.
Okay, sir. Thank
Okay.
you.
Stick for this one and then I'll check kung saan nanggaling tong formula na to. Okay, because hindi ko sure kung paano pa na-derive ni sir kasi magkakaiba talaga. Anyway, so any other question before we start? Alright, so I guess none anymore. So this is where we have stopped last meeting. This sample problem number 12. Okay, so are we clear so far regarding with this one? Okay, wala kayong concern. So I hope you guys are recreating or try to make this one work on your own Visual Studio so you can appreciate it. Okay, because experience is always the best teacher. Okay, nothing can beat that. Okay, it is always you and your experience. Anyway, so let me introduce to you guys a new function. So we call that one R&D, closing up in parentheses. Okay, so to make it simple, let me open a notepad. Okay, so this is a randomizer. Okay, so in VB we call that one R&D close and open parenthesis. So just equate this one into any variable that you wanted to store a random number, and then it will be stored in that, and then you can display that into a text box or a label. Okay, like for example this one, it is being displayed on a text box. Okay, but this one actually has a loophole, okay, or a bug or a limitation, since the first number will always be the same. Okay, it always generate this fixed number, 0.7055475. So let me just show this one to you guys on how this one is working. Okay, I think I have an existing example for this one. Okay, so just wait a second. Random function, random sample. All right, so let me just delete this one right now, and also that one. Okay, so in here, we just declared a variable. Let's say any variable. Okay, it will be fine. So in here, as a single, and then whatever is this function, or this randomizer will generate, it will be stored on our variable s. Okay, and then we will display that onto our text box one.txt. Okay, and then one more thing that I would like you guys to learn. Okay, so s is equal to text box one.txt. So those two are different. Okay, they are not the same. So again, in programming, it's always from right to left. We always start from right, and then it will be passed on to the left side. So this one, it already has a value. Okay, and then it will be displayed on our text box one.txt. But for this one, okay, it's like you're asking an input. Okay, this one doesn't have anything by default unless you've set here text box one dot text is equal to 5. Okay, unless you declared something like that wherein it already has a default value. But of course, initially we don't do that one since a text box is always blank. Okay, so in here you're asking an input, and then it will be passed on to our variable s. Okay, so those are the difference between those two arrangement. Okay, so again, from right to left. Okay, so yeah, I hope some of you was enlightened with that one. Anyway, so in here we're going to display the random number on a text box. So just wait a second. So if I click this button one, it will generate this fixed value 0.7555475. But if I will click this one again, so of course that is now another random number. Okay, 0.533424. And then one thing that you may also have noticed, this one only generates 0 from 0 to 1. Okay, a decimal value. So if you want to display a whole number, okay, just multiply this one by 100 times 100 so that it will display 75 or 70 rather. Okay, so this is still the fixed number. It's just being multiplied to 100. So 70.55475. So another number, another random number, another random number, another random number. And if you want to remove those decimals, well, you can format this one. Okay, so inside of it, just format that one by 0.00. So if you don't know this function of format yet, so just try to revisit the module 7. Okay, and also the tutorial video. So what this will do is it will remove the decimals. So this will display whole numbers only, 71, 53, and so on and so forth. All right. So going back to our slides. So again, this will generate from 0 to 1. So we multiply that one to 100 and then formatted it so that it can only display whole numbers. And then it has a problem wherein this will only generate a fixed value, which is 0.75575. So that is why they created a remedy. Okay, so they made another randomizer, which is called randomize, okay, close and open parenthesis. Okay, So in here, all you need to do is put the randomized function right here. So just declare it below your declaration of variables. Okay, so just start it, and then you can now generate a random number, not just 71. Okay, so to verify this one, let's close and start it again. Oh, bakit 81 pa rin? Bakit naging fixed na siya sa 81? There you go. So maybe it's just a coincidence. So in here, you are now sure that it will really generate a random number. Okay, right from the start up to the end. Okay. So are we clear so far regarding with the RND function and then the randomize function? Okay. All right. So very good. So again, if you have a question, so, feel free to ask me anytime. Okay. All right. So in here, we have another randomizer. Okay, but before that, let me just show this one to you. So before we were just creating a bingo application wherein you're going to put the random manually. But since it's a bingo, so you wanted to generate a random number. So just do what we did in here. Okay. So this is now your button, your randomizer, and then this is now you're going to display the number, and then at the same time you're going to equate the number to its equivalent letter. Okay. So the solution for that one is right here. Okay. So we have the randomizer right here. Okay, RND function, and then we've called the randomize function so that it will really generate a random number right from the start. You don't want to generate a fixed value right from the start of your program. Okay, and then one thing that you will notice right here is we have this rep, okay, rep variable, and then we have the go to rep right here. Okay, so what this will do is if it's not within the range, okay, of your bingo, because in bingo we only have a range of 1 from 1 to 75, okay, but in here it can actually generate 76, 81, 85, 99, 95, okay. So in here, if it's not within the range, it will proceed to this go to rep. Okay. So go to rep is just like a loop. So it will go back right from this point right here, and then it will generate again another random number until it meets the condition wherein it's only ranging from 0 to 75. Okay. So yeah, it's like a double condition. So if it already meets this condition right here, if the number is below 75, then it can now proceed to this another condition. Okay, and then statements. All right, so let me just show to you guys the working program of that one. All right, so if I'll generate a random number, so again, it will be displayed right here, and then the equivalent letter will be displayed right here. So there you go. It will safely generate a random number from 0 to 75. Okay. So yeah, I hope you guys got the idea so far for this one. So are we clear so far? Or do you have a question? Okay. So this rep right here doesn't need to be declared. Okay. So you can change this one actually into any variable that you want. Let's say loop one. Okay, and then this one will become loop one, of course. Okay. So yeah, there you go. Okay, so this is just another function of EVB wherein it can go back up to this point. Okay, All right, so that's it for this alternative solution. So let me introduce you another randomizer, which is like the combination of this one RND and the randomized function. So this one is much more better because you can limit it at very first, without uh, say declaring or putting a condition. Because in here we're declaring a condition wherein x should be less than or equal to 75, and then we have this go to rep right here, etc., etc. Okay, if it's not within 75, but in here you can limit it already right from the start. Like this one, it will only generate a number between 0 to 24. Okay, so why 0 to 24? Because in here it only generates 25 characters. So if we're going to start with 24, so it will end, I mean, if we're going to start with 0, it will end on 24. Okay, that's already a total of 25 characters. Okay, so let me just show this one to you guys. Random function. All right, so for example, we wanted to generate a number from 0 to 30, okay? So it should be 31. So it's like, always plus 1, okay? So dim number as new random, dim x as integer, okay? And then this number right here will generate a number from 0 to 30, and then it will be passed on to our variable x, okay? And then whatever is the value of this x will be displayed on text box 1.text. So let me just show this one to you guys. So there you go. Okay. Another randomizer. So we call that one new random. All right. So I hope we're clear with those three randomizer. So at the very first, they have created this one, which actually has a loophole. It always start with 0.7555475. So that's why they created a remedy called randomize. However, this one, required a longer code. So that is why they've created again another randomizer. Because in here, you can already limit the number or the range of that random number. Okay. So are we clear so far? Did you guys get the idea of those three functions? Only one? How about the others? Do you guys have a question so far? All right. So I hope you guys were able to follow. Anyway, so here's another alternative wherein instead of declaring this condition right here, x is greater than or equal to 75, so we can just do a new random. Okay, you can just apply new random so that you can remove that one. So that in here you can be sure that it will only generate from a number from 0 to 75. However, there is still one loophole of this one. So as you guys can see, this will only, in bingo number, we only need 1 to 75. But this one can still generate a number 0. So that is why we have to put this go to function right here. So that once it generated a 0, okay, which doesn't really fit those conditions right here, so it will go to this else condition. Okay, and then we'll go back right here and then we'll generate again another random number, and then if it match one of this, and then that's the time that it will stop generating another random number. All right, so yeah, this one will give us the same output, just a different way of doing it. Okay, so yeah, before we go to the select cases statement, do you guys have a question so far regarding with this one? Or if none, just give me a thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, very good. Okay, so before I explain everything in select case statement, let's go back with our notepad. So we have discussed from slide 1 to slide 43 the functionality of if, else if, and then end if statement. Okay, this if statement right here. Okay, so this if statement right here has actually an a counterpart or an equivalent. Okay, when it comes to programming things, so we call that one select case statement. Okay, so to make it simple, whatever we can do in if statement, just like what we have in our examples, it can be also done on select case statement. Okay, or vice versa. Whatever we can do on select case statement, it can be also done on if statement. Okay, so those two have the same purpose, to give us options with this condition, and then with this statement, another condition with this statement, another condition with this statement. Okay, so yeah, let me show to you guys the syntax of the select case statement. So if you're going to take a look on this one, we have the select case. Okay, but in if, we only have if right here. Okay, and then followed by the variable, but in here it's select case. Okay, followed by the variable name, and then in here we have the case, or the first case. Okay, or the condition, followed by your statement that you wanted to execute below that condition, and then another condition. Okay, and then the statement that you wanted to execute below this specific condition. And then of course you're not limited up to two only, you can have as many keys as you want. Okay, so in if else statement, we have else if, else if, else if, else if, but in here we only have case, 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 case. And in if else, we have uh, else right here at the very second part of the very end, but in here we have case else. Okay, and for the last part, we have here end if, but in here we have end select. Okay, but the concept is pretty much the same, but the syntax is quite different, especially for the algorithms right here, for the values. Okay, so to give you guys an idea, let me just show this one to you guys in two-page view. Okay, so for these, oops, yeah, right here. So for this example, okay, we have the, bakit magkaiba? Okay, paano ko ililipat? Kasi ito yung gusto ko nasa left. Okay, so just wait a second. Okay pa talaga. Anyway, alright. So in here we have the if statement. Okay, so here's the syntax for the if statement. And then right here we have the equivalent syntax for select case statement. So if we are going to compare this one, we have this if right here, and then in here we have the select case, and in here followed by the variable. Okay, and then in here just a variable. Okay, so for the condition, okay, it's already right here at the very first, but for the condition on the select case, it's on the second row. Okay, and then followed by the statement, but in here it's on the very first row, followed by the statement. So those are the difference when it comes to the start. And then the second one is now the second statement, followed by the condition, which is now quite the same with this one, followed by the the second condition, followed by the statement. Third condition followed by the third statement. Okay. So the third difference is the way we put the formulas or the algorithms inside of it. So in here, if we wanted to say the range of age is from 13 to 19, we have this long uh, algorithm right here. So age is greater than or equal to 13 and age is less than or equal to 19. But in select case statement, it can be reduced into the word to. So 13 to 19. Okay. So see, this one is much more simpler than this one. Okay, because in here you have a long algorithm, but in here it can be uh, done by using a one word, which is the word to. Okay, so 13 to 19, followed by the statement, okay, which is now quite the same with this one. So when it comes to statements, they are just the same. But when it comes to condition, they are quite different. Okay, we have their own ways of syntax to do that one. So in here, another one is 20 to 35, but in here it's 20 to 35. So very straightforward. And then 56 to 65 category is special rule. Less than 65, okay, just use this word is, case is, and then greater than 65, okay, which is now equal to senior citizen. Case else, everyone else, okay. So in here we have else if and then followed by the variable age is greater than 65. Okay, but in here we're going to use is. Okay, so yeah, did you guys get the idea so far on how to use now the uh, select case statement? Okay, so don't you worry, I don't really care what syntax you're going to use. So you can use if statement if you want, or you can use select case statement. So either of those two will be fine as long as the program is completely working. Okay. So anyway, what important is the output. Okay. Then after that, I'll check the code. All right. So yeah, that's the comparison between if statement and then select case statement. So in here we have how many minutes do we have more? So 1 minute remaining. So I'll stop our discussion for now, and then we'll just continue the rest on the part 2 since we don't have enough time anymore. So before we end our meeting, do you guys have a question so far? Okay. What about the others? Questions or clarifications? All right. So I guess none. So if you don't have a question anymore, then you may now go and then just wait for the second link of the part 2. Okay. So goodbye and see you guys later.